whatever, you know, whatever they do, minus killing him, which they won't do. I'll guarantee you that they won't do that. And we faked his death way too many times now to actually pull it off again. But whatever they do, we'll be able to, you know.
Yeah, just
we'll be able to write some explanation and it'll get you to the movie.
Yeah,
so.
Because of it being in real time, for example, they make a decision in the last 4 hours to end this.
Yeah.
You know, how are they going to fit in things like what happened to Wayne Palmer? You know, all these sort of loose ends that kind of need to be tied up for the fans.
Right.
Yeah.
They're still there.
How'd you go about doing
Well, I actually, you know, we were joking the other day. I was with Carlos, and I said, you know, you're still in jail. I mean, we've forgotten now that you're in jail, and you're not the only one. I mean, Greg Itson comes back this year. We all kind of know that already. It's not really a spoiler, but just because it's been reported.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at all the people that are in jail. You know, Laura Harris, who played, you know, the Valley Girl turned terrorist. There's all these people in jail. I guess the
Martha
guy from
Logan,
last year,
presumably,
you know, he's in jail. I said, you know, have a breakout. Have all these guys get together like the you know, the league of bad guys to go after Jack. I mean, God, I'd love to see that. All these bad guys were all so great, you know, and we didn't kill them all. Some of them are still out there, you know, so you can actually just, you know, have a jailbreak and have them all get out, led by Tony.
24 versus prison break.
Exactly, it'd be prison break. That's what I was saying. I was joking to him that it's prison break, you know, but yeah, all those guys are still in jail, so you know, you never know. You could, you know, one of those guys could be intricate in the story too, and Tony could be part of the feature. You know, I mean, you could do all of these things. I mean, my thing on the show was, you know, there was this great impact of killing Terry in year one, and it was brilliant. It was something that no one had ever done on television. Truly, no one had ever done it. It was truly amazing. I mean, even when they shot JR, it ended up being a dream. I mean, even that didn't, you know, and that was supposed to be, you know, groundbreaking. And then, you know, we got to a point where we realized, well, by doing this, of course, you can't watch television the same like you always have. You know, because the big advantage, again, I think we might have talked about this before, you go to a feature film, anyone can die. Brad Pitt can die. Even the lead of the movie can die. Anyone can die. You know, Julia Roberts can die when you go to a movie. Of course, nowadays a little less, because you know that they want to set up sequels too. But in television, you always knew nobody would die. So bringing all those people to the edge of death every week was kind of, it was a joke. It was a joke that everyone accepted. So the second they killed Terry, all rules were off. And then they did take advantage of that over the years. And I personally thought it just got too much. That's why, you know, I told a story about keeping Greg Itson alive, even though in the show we had killed him. You know, and I said, well, if the ambulance just drives away, we have no idea. If it works for the story next year that he's dead for whatever reason, fine, then he's dead. But if you want to bring him back, keep that option open. You know, and again, I fought for that as many times as I could with a lot of these characters, because I know how hard it is on television to get these characters to a place where your audience loves them and they want to see them every week. And when you kill them, that's a lot of work that not just myself and the actors, but the writers have done. The writers have done this incredible job of making these characters feel real, only to kill them and have to start again with someone new. You know, so part of that, I was never a big fan of knocking off so many people. I mean, I got it, and sometimes it worked great, and there were impact moments on our show that were fantastic. Some of them had to happen, like Edgar had to happen, because you were at CTU and someone there, you know, you couldn't attack that place and just kill extras. I mean, you out of that big attack, someone had to go, and then I get that. But some of the other ones, I think, you know, we could have done without, quite honestly.
What about David Palmer? Because you said last time we spoke, you said you got that on your iPod as the one episode you actually had.
Yeah, the episode 5, season 5, the opener for season 5.
Do you think that was
the way
to go?
I think that was the way to go, because it totally informed that whole year. You know, that year isn't as great as it is without Palmer dying at the beginning. You know, and that's important, as opposed to a one episode shock thing where you go, oh, well, you know, and that was my thing. It wasn't about killing the person and who that person was. It wasn't even about that, because some people I really loved and would love to have them around. It wasn't even about that. It was about how does it impact the story in a huge way, not this cheap kind of one episode way. You know, I wanted to impact the story in a massive way, and killing a Palmer couldn't have been a bigger impact on Jack and on the story and on the fact that you have a new president. I mean, all of that was really brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. So yes, in his you know, for him, yes, it mattered that we killed him, and it was a good kill.
It was a good kill, yeah. I guess.
Sorry, Dennis, but it was a good kill.
I guess working as an actor on 24, you're probably one of the least secure jobs you're ever going to have, really.
Absolutely. And, you know, again, we've changed the industry. Because you're going on Heroes, you never know. You're going on a lot of these other shows. And, I mean, as of a couple of years ago, even procedurals started killing off main characters at the end, you know, which shocked me. It's like, no, that's not your world. I mean, I get our world, that's what we do, and Heroes and Lost, that's part of the tapestry of what our shows are. But procedurals, I mean, you know, but again, they want that last episode cliffhanger thing, and so they're even killing off main characters, which I find really strange.
I wish a few more people would die on Heroes. But maybe all of them.
Unfortunately,
So, talking about other TV shows, what have you been up to since you left 24?
Well, I delved into the feature world, and that's one of the reasons I left 24. We talked about that. And the feature world is just such a different sort of, I guess the best example is that, you know, television works in a way where you have a date, you could talk about it all you want, but at a certain date you got to start shooting to hit that date, to hit that air date. In features, it doesn't work that way. You can talk about a movie for 2 years, and most of the time you're not getting paid as you talk about the movie. So it's a very strange and different way of working. And so I was involved in a couple of films, and one of them was with DreamWorks, called Motorcade with Ryan Reynolds. We got right to a very, very close spot, but at the end of the day, DreamWorks didn't greenlight it, and so it got shelved. So it still could possibly go, but I'm not working on it anymore right now. Then I did a few television shows because I hate not working, so I did Criminal Minds. And again, they were all connected to people I know or want to know, so Criminal Minds were the same producers at Venero that I did my pilot with, that I did Washington Field with, so I did that with them. Then I did an episode of Fringe, because I had met JJ and we had a great relationship, and he wanted me to do that, so I did an episode of Fringe and had a great time doing that. And then the last thing I did was an episode of Human Target, which was a lot of fun for me too, and that was through you know, Big G's company. Again, all having slight connections to the feature world, just because that's a new world I'm moving into, and I had a great time on that. The actors are so good on that, and I really had fun on that one too. So it was kind of fun to go out there and do that. And you know, if you think about it, that used to be what I did for a living. I mean, I did you know, I go from episode to episode. That was the kind of director I was before I came to 24 and, you know, sucked my roots in for 7 years. I was the guy that just went from show to show. So it was very comfortable for me to go back to that world, and a lot of fun because it's all new people, all new actors, all new challenges. You know, some of those shows are still trying to find their feet, so I could help them with that, like Human Target, for example. Even Fringe was still kind of just trying to find themselves in their second year. So, you know, I'm a guy with an opinion, so I'm going to come in there and tell you what I think, whether you like it or not. So it's just the way I work.
I watched Fringe. I like Fringe a lot, and I was very excited when I saw your name flash up.
Yeah, it was a really fun thing for me to do. And, you know, after 7 years of not doing Supernatural, I mean, in my early days, I did a little bit of it on Kung Fu and some other sci-fi shows I did. But, you know, 7 years of straight up, you know, not doing that kind of stuff. It was, you had to like get those muscles going again, you know, like pull out those tools again on how to work in that way. And of course, it had moved so far forward as far as CG that it all was a little different working in that world than when I had left it 7 years ago. I mean, the advancements are amazing.
So you got the real time aspect,
and you don't have the real time. That was the hardest thing to get used to. You know, right away I'd be going, then we have to, and I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have to do any of that. I knock on the door and they're there. You know, it's like, what am I thinking? You know, I had people walking up driveways. I don't have to do that. They just knock on the door, open the door, they're there. So to like pull away from that a little bit was difficult at first. But
the crew must have been like
went pretty quick.
The crew must have been like, this guy John, he wants to film
everything. It's exactly right. He's coming out of the car. It's like, what do you need that for? You'll never use that. So it was very strange. And it's fun then again, because then your transitions, I mean, something as a director you get to play with. In 24, we didn't really have them because you really had to start with the car pulling up and doing all that. Whereas, you know, in this world, you can, you know, put a coffee cup down, then you pick it up somewhere else and you're somewhere different. So you get to play with those transitions a little bit. So that's was kind of fun to get back into that. You know.